for a lot of people. We'll just call it saving lives. If you look at the number of incidents or accidents that's happened in China in their high-speed rail system compared to
Dude, it's insane.
car accidents in the United States, oh God, they say driving a car is one of the most risky things we'll do in our life.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation because this is the shit like people like us, regular people, should be talking about instead of raving in the streets about like, oh, he misgendered me and whatever and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Why aren't we talking about how, Japan, right? Their like security system there, it's like nearly perfect where they don't have a ton of cops, but their surveillance is key. They have cameras everywhere.
I think it's a little bit dangerous though.
Yeah. I get what you're being watched and
something
all,
that's interesting though that you mentioned in that comparison of how you're talking about, oh, misgendered me or whatnot. A lot of SJWs like to compare us to other cultures, and I don't feel like they're fairly comparing us to other cultures because on cultural or opinion-based or anecdotal points of view, you can't really compare us to someone else. We're all different. But if we're going to talk about something like public transportation, you absolutely can use the successes of other societies to build up your own. And you use the term capping. All right, we're capping our potential here, and we absolutely are. We're talking about just space, but with the highway system, because of greed and corporation greed, or really just the way we've been conditioned to believe that, like, okay, this sort of the lifestyle is necessary with the car, buying a car, a nice car, whatever it is really capping our potential economically, and there's a lot of other things that go to a car. If we think about committing to a transportation system that maybe at the end of the day is going to hurt some industries, even though it will provide a new industry, but we're going to hurt some industries. And maybe it looks a little bit less cool if, it's not such a competitive point now on what kind of car you drive and how you look in front of your people. But think about like the financial freedom that you would get. And also let's think about the reduced risk, because most people will have gotten into an accident or experienced an accident or seen an accident in their lifetime, and that's a life-threatening condition. And thinking about how much money and stress, financial stress, we can relieve if our culture just use the success of other states, and societies, and we directly applied it. And I think technological success is where we should be comparing ourselves to others, not necessarily on cultural or moral standpoints, but definitely something on technological or infrastructure development, structural government, state, etc. We definitely can use and compare ourselves to other ones. It goes across multiple ones, not just like China and the high-speed rail, but like even if we were thinking about like German innovation back in the day, where there were some statements made that if they would have waited just a few years to get so crazy, they might have won the war just because of how technologically advanced they were. They just weren't at the state of where they could keep up with production. If you think about the tank system, the German tank far superior to the average tank that we were producing, but we could produce 10 to their 1.
Yes, and since you're highlighting that, the tanks, make sure we put a highlight on the medical advances that came out of World War II.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane because, they didn't have biology. They didn't give a fuck. They were just like, let's cut open people. Let's actually learn the human anatomy. But I'm not going to go deep into that because that's a whole nother episode. But I want our listeners right now to write down your car insurance, your car payment, your gas, your monthly gas bill, your transportation allowance, right?
How much does it cost to replace those tires?
Hey everyone, thanks for watching our video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to listen to the rest of the podcast, make sure you follow us on Anchor as well as Spotify. The links are in the description below. Till next time, this is the K&J Podcast.